conference is being recorded.
All right, everybody, welcome to the afternoon call. And if you believe this, we've got almost 500 people on this call. That is absolutely amazing, and I think Peter will agree with me, for any company to have almost 500 people on an afternoon call. I mean, seriously. So Zeekler is growing like crazy. It's just a rocket ship that you better hang on to, and we're all absolutely, we found our field of diamonds. We found it, and all we have to do is pick them up. So I'm going to introduce Mr. Peter Mingles, and Peter is our I guess you would call it our new training director.
Who needs
I guess
a title?
That's what his title is, or something like that. And he's an amazing speaker, and he is going to be talking today, and as he does every day. And so here's Peter Mingles.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. And as other people have reminded us, happy birthday in advance. So happy birthday in advance.
Thank
you. For all those people that want to wish Chris a happy birthday, we'll open it up towards the end. If you want to, we can do a mass happy birthday, Chris. So the mass happy birthday towards the end. So after you're done with your little inspirational piece, we'll all say happy birthday. I won't dare to open it up right now, because if we open it up right now, we have about 600 people on the call right now. It'll be like pandemonium. So that we call self-inflicted. I would self-inflict my own demise, which, by the way, is a statement that I use all the time. So let's go through some basic stuff relative to training. Thanks for being on the call, everyone. I know by talking to you that there's lots of people on the phone that do countless things to make this opportunity really great and life-transforming for many people, and you don't get the recognition you deserve all the time. So just realize that I know what it's like, lots of other people know what it's like, and we thank you for all the great things that you do, the extra time, the extra effort, the everything that you do to help to make this a really great opportunity for a whole bunch of people. So just say thank you, and I'll say thank you in advance on behalf of everybody that needs to say thank you in advance. So here we go. On this call, we're going to go over questions. Alex is going to be here in just a moment or two. You're going to want to, if you have a question, you're going to write it down on a form of an email, and you're going to send it to questions@zeeklers.com. questions@zeeklers.com. So if you come to this call, and you can, and you want to, I always recommend that people grab a pen and paper or some kind of note-taking devices, because there might be something that I say, Alex says, Chris says, that might be something that you want or need to hear or repeat to your downline, and you'll never remember it. So your brain is only so big, and you'll never be able to remember everything, but if you get a chance and you write some things down, that'll probably help. So one of the things that I'm going to talk about, again, is every time we do this call, that we have Alex here who can answer questions. You submit your questions to questions@zeeklers.com. Have 600 or 700 people on the call, sometimes as many as 1,200 people on the call. There'll be no way, of course, if you start to think it through, that in a half an hour, 45 minutes, Alex is going to be able to answer all of the questions that come in. So he'll do the best he possibly can to answer the questions that come in, but you will not, N-O-T, get a reply back. So don't think just because you sent one, it's going to be answered. We try to do this in the forum that we have to answer the most timely things at the right time. That'd be number one. Number two, I always say, life is like a pizza. Everybody either makes or takes a slice. We give you the little slicer, and you get a chance to slice it up in uneven proportions depending on the situation. We know that there's always a portion of the population that is overly sensitive. So I'm talking about overly sensitive. So we have to, if you're married to one, if you're married close to one, you always have to handle this. So if you're overly sensitive, and I'm not going to identify the people in my house or my household that are overly sensitive, but you always have to kind of cater to those kind of people. You just realize that if your question is not answered, it is not answered personally. Meaning, like, this is a group question thing, and if your question isn't answered, don't think that we are ignoring you. It's just not the right forum. So having said that, then, I would leave you in the hole if I didn't say where you can go find a lot of the answers to a lot of your questions. So we go over this all the time because there's new people here all the time. Grab that pen and paper handy. ZeekRewards.com. ZeekRewards.com is your main website to be able to get questions and answers. Next one, ZeekRewardsNews.com. That's like an interactive blog that's not really interactive. So it's a blog where Dawn or Alex or anybody else might be able to post some News, and that'll be used more frequently as well. So there's ZekeRewards.com, ZekeRewardsNews.com. There's ZekeRewardsNews.com/training. So ZekeRewardsNews.com/training. That's supposed to be kind of like for users only, where you put in your username and your password, but from time to time, I think, there's some challenges with that, so sometimes you can get in without using your username and your password, but it's supposed to be password protected. But you go to ZekeRewardsNews.com/training, and the last one is going to be the support forum that Alex is really doing a great job putting together, which is ZekeSupport.ZekeRewards.com. So use the tools that are available. There are a lot of you coming in all the time, and it's impossible to give people personal attention on the generic issues. And then if you have a specific question, like a challenge with your account personally, that's when you use affiliate services. And affiliate service is one of those things, there'll never be enough affiliate services. So just so you know, long waiting times, long everything. They do the best job they possibly can, but it's really hard to get a lot of those things covered all the time. So I'm going to go over a couple of things, and then Alex is going to review some of the questions that you are submitting. So that's why I talk a little bit first. So you guys can submit your questions to questions@zeklers.com. And what I like to try to do is try to give you some leadership training that you can jot down. And today we're just going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to talk about something that I learned a long time ago called the precision model. The precision model, if anyone uses our lead management system, they can go into the movies and they can see a little movie we did on this as well. But you'll want to write this down. And many times, see, when you're talking to people, they're going to say something. And when they talk back is what I say they're going to talk back. They're going to probably ask you a question, or they'll throw out an objection, or they'll say statements or stuff. So if you want to remember that, just put down QOS, questions, objections, statements or stuff. And by the way, Alex, I think we hear your little ringing in the background, like when anybody texts you something, or maybe does your Skype, so you might have to mute out your speakers on your computer, because we hear the little ring that usually happens. Okay, so here we go. So people are going to ask questions. That's the cue. People are going to raise objections sometimes. People are going to say statements or stuff. Now, by the way, if you grew up in sales, you realize that objections are a wonderful thing. Objections are not an ending point. I don't want to do it doesn't mean I don't want to do it. So no doesn't always mean no. It might mean that's what I said initially, but I'll change my mind based on new information. Now, that's not a form of manipulation. That's not a form of anything other than learning effective levels of communication. Most of the people that ever bought anything from me, if they weren't anticipating of buying something from me, many times they threw out some things that an untrained ear or an inexperienced person, or worse yet, someone that prejudges, they might believe those to be objections. They're not objections. They're things that people say. When I was growing up, I said a long time ago, when I was growing up, my mom asked me when I was a little boy, are you ever going to leave your mommy? I said, no, Mom. You know, who would I marry? My mom. You know, everybody's got little boys. Many times know that they're sometimes in love with their moms when they're little boys, and a little bit later on, you know, eventually I got married, even though I told everybody on the planet that would listen, no marriage, no kids, and guess what I am now? I'm still married, have 3 kids. Was I lying when I was a young little boy? Was I lying when I was a teenager or into my 20s? The answer is no. Something happened to change my mind. That will probably happen with a lot of the people that you talk to relative to home-based businesses, network marketing, online auctions, any or all of the other stuff. Many times they say no before they say yes. So how do you handle that transition? Well, you learn the tools. If you're a plumber, you probably learn how to use a wrench. If you're a surgeon, you probably learn sharp objects. If you're an engineer, you probably learn pencils and all the other things. Now probably engineers use programs and things like that. Well, if you're a network marketer, what are the tools that you use? It's your brain, and maybe your fingers if you're typing, and the stuff that comes out of your mouth, like your lips. So we're going to use all those things together. So you learn this stuff. Now, we're not all in direct sales. Like I used to be in direct sales, full-time, hardcore, that kind of thing. We're doing network marketing, so we're going to use basic tools. We're going to teach things that people on everyday basis could probably learn, so you want to write this stuff down. We have a little movie called The Precision Model that kind of exemplifies this so you can see it. And I won't go through the whole thing, but I'm going to give you a couple of questions you're probably going to write down. So if you only remember the questions and you have them in front of you, you'll probably see that you could use this. So here's the first one. Compared to what? Compared to what? So if you have something, you can write this down. I will share with you. If your team is not doing this right now, you will get a raise in your income. Your business will go to the next level if the only thing you teach them is this. Compared to what? Questions, it's the brain. I'm going to give you some context to these in a second. Next, what specifically? What specifically? That's question number 2. Question number 3, how specifically? How specifically? So again, for those people that are saying, oh, shoot, maybe I should grab this. Or those people that may be driving in their car and say, maybe I should pull over. This is good stuff. I want to write it down. Even though Alex is going to post this to the training section later on, if you just need to find a little recovery time to say, oh, I guess this napkin isn't going to work. For taking notes, here we go. Compared to what? What specifically? How specifically? The next one. What would? So what would ... happen if? What would cause you to? So I know I speak fast, so I'll go slow. Ready? What would happen if? What would cause you to? What would prevent you from? Prevent you from. And the last one is all? Every? Never? All? Every? Never? So those are the questions. Now here's the context. Now, by the way, if you ever watch our little movie on the precision model, we draw these on hands. If me and you were working together in the classroom, I'd say, go grab that pen. I know you like this when we do this. As long as you have 5 fingers on both hands, we're going to show you how these things line up, right? So this is a lifestyle, but we can't do that on this call because I only have like 10 or 20 minutes. But if you write down the questions, you'll see where they kind of fit. Remember the first question, compared to what? Compared to what? So sometimes people will say, remember we talk about handling awkward moments in advance. You tell them in advance it could take up to 15 days, 15 business days before the check that you write that we sign for and you get the receipt back that says that we received. It could be up to 15 business days before you actually see something in your back office. Now, I may not be using the right terms, but get the essence of what I'm saying. That's too long. Compared to what? Compared to what? I'm going to use a bad example. You ready? Here's my bad example. So I tell you in advance I'm going to use a bad example. I just turned 50. Oh, my gosh. Like, how can that happen? And I went to go see my doctor, and they said, have you ever had a colonoscopy before? And I'm like, yeah, unfortunately. I've done the short versions and the long versions. This isn't very fun. Well, it's time to go get another one. I'm like, really? So, like, when I was told it was going to take maybe 2 or 3 months for me to get the exam, I'm totally okay with that. I'm like, way to go. It takes a long time. Compared to what? Now let's take a look at human nature. If I buy something, when do I want it? I want it now. If I buy a Harley or a custom-built car or something, when do I know I want it now? But compared to what is relative? Like if they already sold out all the Harleys and you have to wait a year, well then waiting 15 days is really not a big issue. So our job is compared to what does it take a long period of time? Compared to what? So that's one. Next, what specifically? Price is too high. You know, you might say, well, what specifically about the price is too high? Or maybe even compared to what? Or maybe they say things like, that's too much money. So compared to what? So whether it's $29.95, think it through. I know that some of you are going to have challenge with some people say, you mean I got to buy the videos? Compared to what? Anybody who's ever run a regular business before knows that you probably have $30 a minute maybe in leakage through your organization. Forget about $30 for the year. So compared to what? Compared to if you kind of like had to do all those videos or explain it on your own? We do know that most people that do network marketing, remember life's like a pizza. What percentage of the people that do network marketing really, let's say it sincerely, without being mean, could survive on their own running a traditional regular business? What percentage of the people that do network marketing could survive on their own doing a traditional, regular business? The answer is, and this isn't being mean for all those people that are super sensitive, the answer is most of them cannot. Most of them cannot. So what do we expect people to say when we ask them to spend $30 for videos? That's too much money. Compared to what? Anybody who's ever run a regular business is probably saying. So next one. How specifically? I had a problem signing in. How can I deal with that? How specifically did you have a problem signing in? So not only are these sales techniques, These are also effective management techniques as well. What would happen? So what would happen if, this is that fourth series of questions, what would cause you to, what would prevent you from, what would happen if you joined without your wife knowing? Like, so you're talking to somebody who says, I have to ask my wife. Now, you might say, what specifically do you have to ask your wife about? And that might be a little bit aggressive. So you might say things like, well, what would happen if you joined anyway? What would happen if? What would happen if it didn't work out? What would happen if? Or what would prevent you from doing this now? Now, remember, these and all questions work better after you've built levels of rapport and sold yourself to different people. So all of these things work better when you've built levels of rapport, when they like you, when you can see that the guard has gone down and you're having casual conversations. The last one is going to be like all, every, never. No one ever makes money in network marketing. Never? Like all the people lose money. All of them lose money? So that's called that's a universal. All, every, never. Those are universals. All, every, never? And then they can explain it away on their own, inside their own head, so you don't kind of have to handle it. So the precision model is where I learned a long time ago. I'll give credit where credit is due. I heard it explained like this through a gentleman named Peter Lowe, who's a sales trainer. So I always like to give credit where credit's due because they deserve it. I'll take credit for using it. I'll take credit for teaching it. I'll take credit for having it work for me, but I always like to give credit where credit is due. So in reference to those things, that's called the precision model. So again, last call for writing them down just in case you missed them. Compared to what? What specifically? How specifically? What would happen if? What would cause you to? What would prevent you from? And the last one is all? Every? Never? So there's some ways you can handle the inevitable questions, objections, and the statements or stuff that sometimes people say. All right, Alex, I bought you a couple of minutes for questions. Are you ready for questions?
I am ready. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you perfectly. And I want to ask a question right off the bat that somebody had submitted several times. And we come back to this question many times, so a lot of people are probably, even though we handle it every day, there's new people on the call. The question is always about requirements and PRCs and that stuff. So the 5CC program. So for everyone that's listening in that might need to just hear it one more time, can you explain that whole thing?
Okay, sure. If you were an affiliate during the time that we had the 5CC, then around March 1st, the FTC came out with a new ruling that we weren't allowed to provide, promote, or sell customers and lead generation services. And we didn't make an exception, but if you were in the 5CC, if you get 2 PRCs, preferred retail customers, then you qualify to receive customers from the company Rotator. But that only applies to people that were in the 5CC. So if you are not in the 5CC and you have 2 PRCs, you will not receive customers from the company Rotator. It is strictly for those that were involved in the 5CC prior to the rule change.
And the FTC made the ruling not against Ziegler, but they made it against, or they made that ruling for compliance things relative to business opportunities. So it wasn't just a Ziegler thing only, it was an industry thing only, and to Ziegler's credit, they're actually compliant with the new ruling, whereas many other network marketing companies still don't even know it's existing or don't think it applies to them, which is naive, and or are just ignoring it. So just one more kudo about the company doing the right thing. Okay, now, Alex, something relative to requirements. I'm sure a lot of people will want to make sure that the commissions and all the other things that they're earning, they want to be able to keep. So as soon as we start talking about, or you start talking about requirements for commissions or commission checks or anything else like that, as poorly stated as I just did, people are getting ready to jump out the Zeek window wondering like, oh my gosh, what do I have to do to make sure that I'm still going to be able to earn the type of money that I'm earning right now? So let's talk a little bit about requirements either now or moving forward, to the extent that you can, because not all of the things have been ironed out.
Right, and every day I get questions regarding Z-Bates, and I do not know any more information than what's been discussed on calls and posted on Zeek Rewards News. I know that it's going to be a qualifier. You're going to have a choice between either getting PRCs or using Z-Bates and having customers purchasing. That's the extent of what I know what those qualifiers will do. I'm sure as Don and Greg and whoever else is behind the whole Z-Bates thing iron out the rest of the details, there'll be a post on Zeek Rewards News, and everybody will have ample time to get together and work out the qualifiers and get themselves qualified. Right now, nothing has changed in terms of qualifiers. You can earn commissions from the sales of bids. You can earn commissions from the sales of bids of daily awards that are being repurchased for bids. You earn commissions for the sales of subscriptions. Everything is the same at the moment. I do not know any more than what's been already discussed about Z-Bates.
I'm going to add on some things relative to that as well. Heard something a long time ago, really rung straight for me, so I'm going to give it to you, and then you could use it wherever it fits. I learned a long time ago a term called I am responsible. So I heard it first from Brian Tracy, so I'm going to share with you the way he said it rang with me. Sometimes you have a speaker that you listen to that really can kind of sing your notes. So when Brian Tracy said, I am responsible, I am responsible, I am responsible, that's something that I said to myself way back when, and I heard it, he said it, and I say it to myself every single day. And even though I may not ultimately be responsible for every single thing, the only thing I can really control mostly is the stuff that I do. So I am responsible. So the realistic aspects are you are responsible. When you checked the button that says you read the terms and conditions, when you agreed to whatever it is that you did, when you pushed the button, unless somebody was holding a gun to your head, at which point you probably could have reversed it by now, you are responsible. So sometimes people say, well, I didn't know. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. Or I was told differently. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. So, or this isn't the way it was explained to me initially. Unfortunately, that doesn't count. If you're in a network marketing company, a network marketing company is a subsection of direct selling, and that subsection of direct selling means that you have to have a product that kind of stands on its own that people would buy anyway. Now, here's the great litmus test for you. Do people buy bids in penny auctions, and do they do it without being part of the compensation? Like, do they not have a financial interest in doing it? And the answer is, yeah, like in a big way. Online auctions, online penny auctions are a very fast-growing sector of the internet marketing business. So, yes, your competitors spend tons of money to attract people that buy stuff that aren't part of a deal. And I use the word deal for slang. So for all those people that record or try to manipulate, I just use the word deal for slang in a casual purpose in this context. So in reference to those things, yes, plenty of people do this stuff. Lots of people like online auctions. I bought, Alex, from penny auctions and online auctions ever before Ziegler was even thought about, and many of you have too. So the answer is yeah, there's plenty of people that like this stuff, so your job is to go out there and find them. Now, will some of your compensation be done on promotional and self-consumption? Every company does that. Amway does it. Every company that's been out there, Melaleuca does it, even though they consider themselves not a network marketing company, but every network marketing company has a certain volume of self-consumption. That's already been okayed and agreed upon, but there has to be people from the outside world. So obviously what Dawn is doing is she's sprucing up the auctions, and other things will happen where we can have people outside of the thing just be regular retail customers that aren't part of the quote-unquote slang deal. The Z-Bates is going to help you with that as well. So, yes, there'll be some requirements for those people going to work and just effectively building their business. They're not going to be affected by the requirements that I've seen. For people that just think they just sit there and stuff magically happens, they will be affected. So for all of those people who say, I didn't know, well, as long as you clicked on that button, you know, you are responsible. Maybe it was explained a little bit differently. Maybe it wasn't fully explained, but you are responsible. Whoever submitted that button, whoever's been cashing those checks, receiving those payments, They are responsible. And, Alex, I'm always kind of tickled pink. You get a guy like me that was in direct sales that takes a look at the, teeny-weeny requirements in network marketing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, if a guy ever came up to me and says, I want you to do all this stuff for me, and I'm thinking about giving you, I don't know, like $10 a month in volume, we would say, are you kidding me? I can't put together a whole company. I can't put together conference calls. I can't put together training videos. You're going to do what? $10 a month? $50 a month? What? $100 a month? Please. I need bigger performers. So compared to what? Compared to what? I always told you that sometimes when I do these calls, I set them up really well. So compared to what? Come on. So it's kind of funny, Alex, when you hear me talk about people jumping out of the Zeek window. Mm-hmm. Compared to what? Finding people to spend what? $10 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month for something that people in the regular known world on their own are doing anyway? This is going to be a piece of cake. Then the question is, how do we do it? So that's more of the training. We'll teach you how as well. You'll figure out some stuff on your own. We'll teach you some as how as well, and that's going to be the next part of the training. Because, like, for instance, in the vacuum cleaner business, we had 60 years to teach people and develop a presentation that more or less worked in the vacuum cleaner business, because vacuums have been around for a long time. Encyclopedia is the same thing. How long have penny auctions been around? So there haven't been 60 years of track history on how do you sell somebody bids in a penny auction, or how do you sell somebody the idea of using the Zeek bait. We'll go through all those things in the process of training them as we're ready. So, Alex, next question.
Right, and actually this came in about the 5cc, people that were in the 5cc and the deadline. All the time I see these questions about the deadline. Everybody that was in the 5cc has had 5 months to get 2 preferred retail customers. If you spent more time focusing on getting customers and less time so concerned about when the deadline is, you would have them by now. I mean, 5 months. Everybody was in the 5cc that ended over 5 months ago, and, 2 PRCs, this is procrastination at its finest right here if you're still stressing about the deadline 5 months later.
All right, so let me give you a quick solution for that. So if you want to write this down and use this as an approach, I know this works, so this isn't theory. I know this works. If I were talking to somebody, I'd say, my job is to help you make a decision. If it's good for you, would you want to do it? Yes. If it's bad for you, would you want to avoid it? Yes. What kind of person do you think I am? Do you think I want to do stuff that's good for you or bad for you? Well, Peter, I hope you would want to do stuff that's good for me. Okay, good. So we got kind of like the background here that I don't need your business. If you join the business at the lowest level for $10, do you really think that I'm going to stop everything I'm doing? Honey, come on, we got to move. Honey, come on, we got to hide for $10. I mean, how much money do you think I make if you sign up as a customer for $10, $50, or $99? What do you think? Not enough to make me move. So if it's good for you, would you want to do it? Yes. If it's bad for you, would you want to avoid it? Yes. Let me help you make a decision. When you go through the information, you're going to form one of 3 conclusions. One of the conclusions is this is not for you. We would be naive to think that this fits 100% of the time for 100% of the people. Sometimes the timing's wrong. Sometimes it's wrong. Sometimes you just don't want to. So one of the conclusions might be, Peter, I think I'll pass. Second one, I'm kind of liking this. This looks pretty interesting. I think I want to really consider this, but I'm not sure about the business part. I think I just want to join as a customer. Let me try it out. It may not be the best thing for me just yet, but let me try it out. I'll join as a customer. Third would be I love it. Oh, my gosh, this looks great. I want to do it either on a part-time or a full-time basis. So remember, here we go. If it's good for you, do you want to do it? Yes. If it's bad for you, do you want to avoid it? Yes. My job is to help you make that decision. I care. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on the phone. But if it's bad for you, I don't want you to do it either. So you're going to form one of 3 conclusions. 1, you don't want to do anything, and you let me down nicely. Peter, it's not good for me. I don't want to do it. I don't like it, whatever it might be, and you're going to treat me nicely. You're not going to make me feel bad. Most times, remember, if you're building levels of rapport, they'll absolutely say, I have no problem telling you no, Peter. And they'll usually say, no, I won't make you feel bad. And usually, oddly enough, that kind of gets them more on your side as you go. So next part is you're really not sure, but you want to try it out. You say, I'm kind of like on the fence here. I want to join as a customer. maybe I'll change my mind later on, but let me just try it as a customer. Number 3, I love it. I want to do it either part-time or full-time. I want to be an affiliate and do the business part of it as well. Love the product, love everything that I hear. And what you're doing right there is you're giving people a path to that decision. Alex, I know that if all of those people that are wondering are like, how do I get my new customers, or what's the deadline? If they spoke to people and they gave them those 3 options, they could get 2 a day. Forget about 2 in like 5 months. Signing up regular customers will be just a natural consequence of the recruiting process. Those people that might say no to becoming an affiliate right now because they don't know what saying yes means might just join as a customer at whatever level. So not only did Alex say, hey, guys, come on, you have 5 months, I gave you something that you'll be able to use to help you make that transition. Alex, next question.
Okay, next question is, can a silver and a gold affiliate buy up to 10,000 bids like a diamond? And the answer to that question is no. Silver affiliates can purchase up to 1,000 bids with external funds. Gold affiliates can purchase up to 5,000 bids with external funds, and diamond affiliates can purchase up to 10,000 bids with external funds. I have not been able to access my store. Any suggestions? Someone also sent that to me the other day. They sent me the link to their store. I clicked on the link, and I went right to their store. I have one of the worst internet connections that I've ever dealt with in my entire life, and if I can pull up the store, anybody should be able to pull up the store. I don't know why it's been intermittent for some, but the times that I've clicked on my link, the times that I've clicked on people's links that they sent me, I've pulled it up consecutively. So I would attempt, maybe just do a hard refresh on your computer. That's, you hold Shift, and then you click the refresh icon in your browser and see if that works for you. I have set aside $26.35 from my commissions and $18.56 from my cash available to pay my subscription. How do I pay my gold subscription with the combined accounts? Okay, if you set funds aside from your commissions cash out report and you set funds aside from your cash available, it all goes to your subscription payment page. So if you go to your back office and you click on subscription payment, you will see underneath the due dates and deadlines for your subscriptions, there is a piece of text that says funds set aside, and you'll be able to see that your commissions cash out report and your cash available all go to one location in your back office, and it's right there for you to look at in the subscription payment page. And the next question is, can you explain currently how the distribution of bids samples to my retail customers is regulated? That is, once I have given them a max allotment, are they closed to me for any future distribution? When do they open back up? Okay, you're allowed. You give away 1,000 bids to each one of your available customers. Any subscription level can do that. The company pool distributes the balance based on the limits on each subscription type. And once they have received 1,000 bids, they can no longer receive bids from you. So that's it. Once they've got their 1,000, that customer can no longer receive sample bids from you. The next question is, are we not allowed communication with our retail customers? How are we to market them or encourage them to buy sample packs? You are not allowed to communicate with your retail customers because it violates Ziegler's policy. We also we got to control, maybe you are encouraging them then to purchase a bid pack, but they could perceive that as spam. For those of you that want to try and promote the business to them when they're only interested in auctions, that could be perceived as spam. So besides the fact that it violates Ziegler's privacy policy, we're also controlling the spam that they could receive from potential people. All right. If a person is a gold affiliate and wants to upgrade to diamond on their due date of 8/8, do they upgrade before the 8th, and is it $99? You can upgrade even during your month cycle, so it doesn't have to necessarily be exactly on the due date. You could upgrade a day before, you could upgrade 5 days before, and when you do upgrade, it is $99. Even though I already subscribe, no matter what browser I use, I can't sign up for the new You Get Paid to Advertise option, any help? Why not just charge me for the annual fee instead of the monthly fee? We are charging you for the annual fee instead of the monthly fee when you purchase the system. And if you have an existing subscription with You Get Paid to Advertise and you purchase the annual package, the old subscription stops billing and you're moved to the yearly billing of the new subscription. Of all the bids used in the auctions, what percentage comes from affiliates giving them away versus the percentage that customers purchase directly from Zeekler and not from an affiliate? The bids that customers receive on Zeekler are free bids that can only be used in free bid auctions, and they're marked on the side of each auction. It says free bid to the left of each auction that accepts free bids. The rest of the auctions that you see are all paid bid auctions that were bid packs purchased through Zeekler.com. And I think we have, it's like a handful of free auctions in a day. So it is pretty controlled. You can go to Zeekler.com, you can click and take a look at the penny auctions, and you'll see that there's only a handful of free bid auctions a day, and the rest are all paid bid auctions. And the next question is, if a PRC was inadvertently enrolled under a PRC, does it count for the sponsor of the original PRC? Yes. So if your PRC sponsors a PRC, it was accidental, it still goes to the next referring affiliate, and that would be the original sponsor of the first PRC. The Skype interface from the Zeek side is down and not working for this call. When I tried to dial in, Skype returns a message, calling to Zeek Rewards, no answer. Can you get the Skype interface up and running? That is something that we cannot control. It is a service that Free Conference Call HD offers. When they have an issue, it impacts the Skype, and contact goes up and down. It's not something that I can flip a switch and say it's call time and the Skype contact comes online. It's something that Free Conference Call HD manages. Are the subscriptions being handled automatically for those affiliates that have valid credit card information in their back office? Yes. When renewals run, assuming that you have a valid credit card or debit card on file, it will go ahead and charge your account for the subscription. If you've set funds aside, it will charge out of there for your subscription. You don't need to go ahead and manually pay your subscription. So a lot of see questions, people that say that the form is down. Well, the form is down, so just make sure your credit card that's on file is valid, or you've set funds aside, and when renewals come, when the renewals run and it gets to your account, you're going to be charged. Your subscription is going to renew, and your account will remain current. So don't fret if the form goes down. Just make sure you've got a valid card on file or you've set funds aside. And the next question is, where can I find the policies and procedures for Zeek Rewards? If you go to the Zeek Rewards homepage and you scroll to the footer, you're going to see Terms of Service, Purchase Agreement, Privacy Policy, and then Policies and Procedures. Click on that link and you'll be taken to the page. And once again.
Hey, Alex, I know that there's a transition with the USHBB stuff where people used to spend the $15 per month, and now it's going to be combined into that $29.95 with the compliance.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we probably sent mixed messages about how that's charged or how people can pay for that. And, you know, sometimes we're on the end, I don't want to play victim here, but we're on the end of the changes of stuff that happens or the announcements. What is the final resolution of how people pay for that $29.95? Is it a separate transaction that they make with outside funds, or can they do that internally?
Okay. The final resolution with the $29.95, you're going to have to use a credit card if you are a gold or diamond affiliate. Silver affiliates have the option to use cash available to purchase the marketing system. That was something that Don worked out with the guys from USHBB to help international affiliates that getting started with the business, people just getting started with the business that don't have that much money. It's a special solution that was worked out just for silver affiliates. So they'll be the ones that will be able to use cash available to purchase the video marketing system. Gold and diamond affiliates will need to purchase the video marketing system with a credit card, which is deemed external funds. And what is the status of the RPP reporting? Okay, last night's run finished at 8 o'clock in the morning today, the day before's run finished at 8 o'clock in the morning today. And then yesterday's run started at 8 o'clock in the morning. So check your accounts. It's been running since 8 o'clock in the morning for last night. Why can't we use PayPal for an e-wallet? Because PayPal does not like network marketing companies, and PayPal does not like penny auctions. That's right off the hopper. The other reason, we used PayPal in the past. They ended up locking up thousands of dollars of the company's funds, and Paul ended up taking a second and third mortgage out on his house to pay his affiliates while he waited for PayPal to release his funds over the course of 6 to 12 months. So it's one of the main reasons why we don't use PayPal. All right, next question. Can we still send can we still send in cashier's checks to upgrade from gold to diamond? I do not believe that's an option. It was an option to do check by fax to purchase your subscription. However, now it is credit card. Can we still request a check to be mailed to me from Secret Rewards for my cash available? At present, that's not an option. I believe it's something that's going to happen again. Right now, though, you can only request funds to AlertPay, Solid Trust Pay, or NXPay, and out of the three, I hear NXPay is the easiest. And with the smallest amount of fees. They charge a flat fee versus a percentage. All right, New Diamond, how do you sign in?
And Alex, I don't know if this is any consolation to anybody, but I'm not part of your deal, so I don't get commission checks from your company. So I'm just like a regular guy on the outside, and I have regular customers that pay us for stuff through Solid Trust Pay and NXPay and Payza, and I have found, so I'm an outside guy having no relationship to do with this that they know about, and their payments are delayed even to me. So it's not a Ziegler thing. It's a third-party thing that must be causing some. I don't know what it is. I don't have an answer for you, but I can just state the facts. I have found that a lot of those places are they're flat out behind. I don't know why, but it's not just a Ziegler thing or Ziegler Rewards or Rex Ventures thing. So just outside guy giving you just just my observations.
Absolutely.
So
okay,
like
how do you sign in?
Just like the gentleman asked about can you get Skype to do something? Well, we can't get Skype to do anything, and you can't get Solid Trust to do anything. They're outside companies that just handle that stuff. Sorry.
Right, and this is another lead-in for if you've got an issue happening inside Payza, or you have an issue that's happening inside Solid Trust Pay, or you have an issue that's happening inside NXPay, then there is nothing our affiliate services team can do for you. Nothing. So writing in a ticket saying, Payza's doing this or Solid Trust Pay is doing that, there's nothing that the affiliate services team can do. They can only handle things that are happening inside Secret Rewards. Once it's in a different company's hands, it's them that have to be the ones that resolve the issue. Affiliate services can't do a thing. And the next question is, how do you sign into your FSC store? Okay, there's two ways that you can sign into your FSC store. The way that I prefer is if you go to Ziegler.com, you log into your account, and then in the navigation bar underneath the banner, there's a tab that says My Account. It's a pop-up versus a pop-down, and in the pop-up it says Visit My Wholesale Store. Click on that link, and it will take you into your wholesale store. That's where you can control look and feel, customize categories, add custom products, specifically at the gold and diamond subscription levels. You can also visit the retail side of your store by logging into your Ziegler account and then clicking the link in the navigation bar that says Visit My Store. That's going to take you to the retail side, that what your customers would see. The wholesale store is where you get the controlling of your prices and the ability to add custom products, add and drop categories, that kind of functionality. So the wholesale store for the back-end functionality, and the retail side, which is the Visit My Store, is what customers would see. And I believe in the Getting Started guide, there's a way to go to see your wholesale store, and your Getting Started guide is in your Zeek Rewards back office. Will the company be giving bids away again, or will it always be put in our back office for us to give away? The company is giving bids away. It's delayed. And with that delay, you have a choice. You can choose to wait for the company pool to distribute your bids, or you can choose to manually give them away. It is your choice. It is still happening. It's just not happening in real time. I have a silver affiliate who's trying to give bids away, but she can't because the customers are grayed out. Is that because the system is slow or something? If the customer is grayed out, then they've most likely received the maximum amount of bids that they can give away, that you can give away, the company pool, and then you're going to have to wait for the company pool to distribute your bids to any one of your available customers, assuming you've given the max that you could at your subscription level. All right, and trying to subscribe for a premium subscription, but the system will not take a MasterCard. Okay, I was talking to our CTO about this problem yesterday, and I believe they're working on a resolution. It's a temporary thing that we are not taking MasterCards. However, I would hope that maybe by the end of today, we will be taking MasterCards again for subscriptions. Will we ever be able to use NXPay or cash available to buy bids for other affiliates? You will not be able to use your cash available to buy bids for other affiliates because I believe that touches on money laundering, and that's one of the main reasons why you wouldn't be able to do that with cash available. So that's, that will never be implemented. And will you be able to use your NXPay? I don't know about NXPay because NXPay is specifically tied to your account, and it works differently than AlertPay and Solid TrustPay, so I'm not exactly clear if you can use NXPay to purchase bids for other affiliates in your organization.
Yeah, and I guess maybe to clean up what you said a little bit earlier, Alex, it's not money laundering if you try to do it. It could appear as if it's like money laundering. Like, for instance, if I said, Alex, I want to buy some bids for you, and we make out what our arrangements would be, that's not money laundering. It's just, though, if it was done, it looks like on a massive basis, it could have the perception of that. So I think that's
right, specifically with internal funds, the money that's inside Zeek Rewards, and you're passing it from one account to another account, that could look like money laundering. Yeah, they don't know no one would know that you have a personal arrangement with whoever you're doing it, however you're doing it. Like, right. For instance, if I say, Alex, here's $500, here's the $500, can you put this on your credit card? You're not laundering money. You're doing stuff that people do every day in every situation, billions of times, and you're doing it with the right intentions. So, but if it was done on a massive basis, it might be perceived that way. So therefore, people that wouldn't know might probably take it the wrong way. And if anybody's ever done business before, the frustration that all of us have that do things the right way is that we're always treated as if we're crooks. So you're a crook first before or you have to validate your existence first before you can do anything. So that's just, welcome to living in a civilized society where people do things the wrong way. So when I have to wire, money into certain places, I might have to show up in person. If I want to go to transfer money to some of my vendors or some of my people, I have to do it and show every version of every, documentation of who I am. And if it's big dollars, oh my gosh, everybody's treated like a criminal if you're moving big dollars around.
It's just kind of like the way it is. So on the small scale basis, I hope you understand, the people listening, is that even though your intentions are right, it might be perceived as if it was somebody doing the wrong thing. So
Absolutely.
Alex, it's just a pain in the neck, especially if you're doing stuff overseas. Like I remember just a short story that I had paid some of my programmers having nothing to do with Zeek. So this is like 10 years ago, having nothing to do with Zeek. I had to send a pretty large sum of money to people that were doing some programming for me, and they happened to be in a different country. And I actually have an FBI file on me as a result of moving that much money overseas to a country that might be perceived as not as being U.S. friendly. So it's just kind of like, well, that's just the way it is. So it trickles down to every level. And now, just so you know, I can't even go, Alex, down to Walmart and buy more than $100 on a Green Dot money card to pay some of my people without it going through their customer service desk. So there's a large challenge with people doing things the wrong way. So it's always where people do things the wrong way stop people from trying to do stuff the right way. So you just have to understand that's the way it is. So no, it's not money laundering, but it might be perceived as that.
Right. And this question, what is the official deadline for affiliates to purchase the annual video package? 30 days from the date announced. What is that date? If so, an official date is needed. I believe it's 30 days from the date that it was announced, and it was announced on July 20th. So you've got 30 days from then, and since it's August 2nd, it's already been 13 days since it was announced. So you've got 22 days? No, not 22. 12 days? 15 days?
Right. And who knows, based on whatever programming Dan or the other programs are going to have to do as well. So it's a soft deadline, I guess.
Right. Exactly. But shoot for, purchase it now, and don't that way you don't have to worry about it later. And that's all the questions I have for today. So, Chris, if you want to say something inspirational, now is the time.
All right. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. All right.
Hold on. I gotta grab my unfair advantage. Everybody, get ready, because when Chris is done, we're all going to open this sucker up and we're going to wish her a happy birthday. So get ready to push your *6 buttons just a little bit.
You guys. Okay. Anyway, we all go through things in life where we get down. But when you're doing business and you're talking to your upline, downline, whomever you're talking to in your business, it's very important to do your absolute utmost best to always be up. In other words, even if you feel down inside, you have to just suck it up and be up. Just get that energy flowing, jump up and down, make funny faces in the mirror at yourself. Whatever you have to do, just change your state of being and be up, be excited. You can see life as painful or a beautiful experience. You've got to make a decision always to be up about life. I mean, no matter what. About your business, your family, your people. And I know you're saying, it's easy for you to say. But you know what? It's not easy for me to say. I've been going through a few things lately, and, sometimes it's not easy to be up all the time. But when these calls come around, I suck it up and I get excited because I want you guys to not hear me be all down in the dumps or whatever. I want to give you a good experience, whatever it is I offer in a small way. And it's not easy, of course, okay? Every person on this earth worries, and that's part of living. People get scared, down, and discouraged, and you think that means you're a failure, but it really doesn't. All it means is that you're a human being. And it's easier to be negative than positive, seriously. And so work on being positive. And yes, it's tough to be excited. It's tough to be positive, to be happy, to continue to keep fighting the good fight. And worrying is a silly part of human nature. I don't know why people worry. You can beat human nature, but you have to recognize that it's not going to happen overnight. You've got to work at it. And the fact is that it's a waste of time because 99% of the things you worry about never happen. And so quit wasting your time. I always think about what's the worst that could happen. Like if something happens or, some situation comes up, now I've changed my thought process. What's the worst that could happen, and what can I do to fix this right now? And I just sit down and I figure out what can I do to fix it. And I can reach out to people. If I can't figure it out, I know people I can reach out to that are good in this area or good in that area that I know can give me good advice. So if you have a challenge, reach out to your upline. Reach out to someone, but don't reach down to your downline, okay? Because you don't ever want your downline to see you in a lousy mood. So stay up, stay positive, and that's my little gift for today.
Way to
thank
go.
you, guys.
Oh, you're welcome. So like we were saying a little bit earlier, compared to what? Compared to what might be the question you might ask. Okay, so here we're going to do it. We're going to give you guys a couple of seconds to get ready. Get ready to push your buttons. You're going to do the *6 thing. Ready? Everybody do the *6 thing now. We won't be able to hear it yet. Don't say anything. So everybody do *6, and then I'll unmute you. I'm watching your computer screen. Hey, you, come on, let's do it. *6. So you're doing the *6 thing. Now your call is going to be open. I'm going to open this call over here on my side, Chris, and you guys got to give it like 3 seconds, and I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. We're all going to wish you a happy birthday, however we want to wish you a happy birthday. Ready? I'm pushing a button.
Unmuted.
Where I'm kind of catch up with, and then we're starting.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chris. And it doesn't have to do anything else if you want.
Muted.
Thank
Your
you guys.
conference
That was a
recording has
beautiful
stopped.
thing, and it almost made me cry. Thank you very much. I really,
set a
really
record.
appreciate it. I'm going to have a wonderful birthday because of all of you guys. Thank you, and thank you, Peter, and thank you, Alex. And we'll be back here on Monday. So have a great weekend, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.